All right, dudes, as we get closer to sunset here, I just had an itch to bring the GS up to the hills. And I've been meaning to venture up here to the peak, Inspiration Point, Willard Peak area here in my backyard, Mantaway, Utah. And I'm just gonna venture up the road a little bit. We'll see how adventurous I actually feel, but man, I'm kind of got an itch to actually try to go all the dang way up. So it's about 13 miles up. I don't know if I'm gonna go all the way up, but we'll see. This is definitely the most treacherous terrain I will have taken her on. I've aired down the tires, and I can't remember how the hell to make it so you can acknowledge the low tire pressure. So I guess I got to read up on that yet again. But if anybody knows in the comments, let me know. That'd be cool. So let's go see if we can make it, how far of the 13 miles up we can make it. We got that much daylight left. Should be fun. Holy sheep shit, you guys. This is freaking gnarly. For real, man. This is next level stuff, man. This is what the big boys ride. I am halfway up to the top, and you would not believe the freaking gnarly ass terrain I've been riding on this thing. I didn't bring my GoPro because I wasn't really setting out to do, well, you know, it just takes a lot of work to document everything. I'm about halfway there. I've still got that much more to go. I'm not quite even halfway probably, but I gotta tell you, aside from one little rock that kind of startled me for a second, I've felt confident, in control, capable, comfortable on the bike, and it's just performing amazingly. I wish I could record some of the gnarliness of this freaking road. Baby head sized rocks, which I've never climbed in steepness and steep terrain. Loose gravel everywhere. It is so damn much fun, you guys. So much fun. But this is a spot that I typically stop at with my trucks and take a couple shots going into the valley. Now there are some pretty gnarly spots coming up that I'm hoping I can get through. So, but I got confidence in the girl, and hopefully if I do have to put her down, I can put her down gently. Holy shnikes, my dudes. My hands are shaking. There we were, clear down there near Mantaway, near the lake when I aired down. We're about 9.5 miles up. You can see the road we traveled up right there. And encountered a little bit of mud from the snow that fell the other day. But here we are at Willard Basin. And this in itself is always just an epic freaking destination. The sunsets up here are phenomenal. But dudes, just trying to take a rest here for a second. Rest my dang trigger finger. All my forearms are just bent. But I'm gonna come walk down here and assess the snowiness of the rest of this route, because I have my suspicions that the backside of the mountain right there, you can see, is just going to create a lot of mud along that entire stretch. And so that is my biggest concern of a challenge up here, is just getting into the slick stuff. Number one thing I don't want to do is jack up and wreck my nice panniers. So I'd like to not have to lay it down today. That would be a bonus. But you can look all the way over there. So there's our destination, really. Is another 2 or 3 miles up there. Right up there. But you can see the road travels right below there. Right about there. And it's definitely going to be a wet, muddy situation, which climbing up, I managed through. All right. Didn't really slip out even, but to descend down through that is going to be a whole other story. And so just descending this entire road in dry conditions is going to be a whole other hair-raising experience for me. So I think it's probably prudent to call it right here. Made it most of the way up. Achieved what I wanted to do, kind of. And so far so good. So if I can just make it back down all in one piece unscathed, that would be a total success. Whew. All right, so definitely decided to call it, and I'm even gonna hit the road while I got that little bit of daylight left. But I gotta tell you guys, I'm quite nervous of this descent down here. 9 miles or so. I mean, coming up, it was like, you're kind of committed, you know, each little section, you're kind of committed, and then it's like, well, I made it up that, it can't be too bad. I must have made it up the hardest parts. Going down, I'm torn between, you know, how much I need to be standing versus how much I need to be sitting. I think probably sitting is, and most of it is probably going to need to be the way I go, but you know, there's a danger, the hazard of sitting in it. Put your foot down, get your foot smashed. So it's definitely a learning experience. I'm praying that I can get her down safely and keep her upright. So hopefully I'm going to shut this off, and hopefully the next video this thing will be in the same condition it's in right now. Wish me luck. Whew. Well, my dudes, we made it back. And well, what I have to report to you is that we made it back unscathed. Woo, buddy. Kept that girl upright. Up and down that dang mountain. Holy Nikes, dudes. My stoke meter's pretty much pegged off the charts right now. So you're just gonna have to kind of bear with me. Not a scratch, not a ding. Panniers are in still primo condition, so man alive. How about that? Okay, I had to turn the bike around in hopes that the wind isn't blasting the microphone. Unfortunately, I don't have good lighting here, I don't have good sound, and I don't have good video. So I'm gonna go ahead and add this to the playlist, the Learning to Ride My GS playlist, you guys, because a lot of stuff was learned today. So this video, unfortunately, is going to seriously lack in much content in the way of gnarly trail action. So there's gonna have to be a part 2. Instead, all I can offer you guys is some ramblings and some thoughts of what this experience did for me. What I do need to do real quick though is air up the tires. This handy dandy little Superflow air pump was gifted to me by my fellow former GS rider. I'm trying to encourage him to get himself squared away with a new one, but yeah, old Levi, let's get after it, brother. So this will be my first field test of this. I happen to have this very same unit in the larger version in one of my trucks, so I'm total confidence that this thing will work really well. So let's get this thing fired up. All right, guys, we're all aired up and headed back home, and this is the first suitable spot I could find because, whew, oh man, I kind of feel compelled, like I really want to get these thoughts off on the video while they're on my mind, because that was an incredible experience and a major hurdle, a major building block of you know, my development with learning how to ride the GS. So just want to tell you guys what I thought about it and how that went. It was just incredible. Like, these are all just random fired thoughts. I don't have any notes or organization, so bear with me. But on that about 9.5 miles each way, about 20 miles of trail, I learned more than I probably could have in, you know, many miles of other terrain. I mean, it had everything. It had steep trails, it had some wet mud, but unfortunately I don't have any good footage to show you guys of how gnarly it was, but trust me, it was crazy. So I'm definitely, like I said, I'm definitely gonna have to go back, and it's probably gonna take a fair amount of work to actually kind of document how gnarly that trail is. I mean, I'm gonna have to get the cameras all mounted on different spots, set up the ground-based cameras and stuff. But dudes, it was an experience, and I don't really know where to start with other than just that I knew that I wanted to go. I knew that I wanted to do it, and those of you guys that have been following the channel for a little bit are familiar with the fact that I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm just learning as I go, and I've only been riding a motorcycle for 3 months, and you know, I've kind of dabbled on dirt bikes a couple times here and there, but I've never steadily ridden a dirt bike. So to take this 650-pound plus a bunch of fuel, 700-pound bike plus my fat ass with the panniers on up that gnarly of a trail after having only been riding for about 3 months was a major accomplishment, man. I've got maybe about, well, I just did the oil change, so I've got maybe about 7,800 miles worth of bike riding, and only a little bit of that has been off-roading. So I guess what I'm saying is I've learned a lot and come a long way, and my confidence to actually tackle that trail today, you know, a month ago or the first few weeks I've been on this bike, I certainly would not have felt comfortable at all with that. So finally, after coming home from that great big trip from Minnesota, I hadn't touched the bike for about 3 days, and a little disclosure, I haven't even washed it. So that was part of the determining factor was, you know what, if I'm gonna go off-road this thing, why don't I just go ahead and go off-road it before I freaking wash her up and get her all sparkly and shiny. But yeah, so I just, you know, I've been watching all my YouTube video buddies and all that, and I don't know, just had a burning desire to go see how far up that damn road I could go. And 9 miles is a long way, dude. It's a long way. I got up to what does the sign say? 9,300 feet from about maybe 5,000 feet. So, you know, you got a good 4,500 feet elevation. And these Rocky Mountains are gnarly. They are rockier than shit. So I don't know. I guess what I'm saying is that, like, I've come a long way, learned a lot in the last few months, and I guess really what I'm saying is that you'll just know when the time is right. You'll just know that you're ready when you feel like you're ready all of a sudden, I guess. So things I should mention is things that have given me some confidence that I mean, I've been just consuming all the videos I could find online, and here we are in the modern day. You know, you learn almost everything you learn from YouTube, or you can, and this is no different. Look at that gun. Military war surplus, Smith & Edwards here in northern Utah. And I would have been totally lost today with having no training, or having really not even been out with anybody that knew what the hell they were doing, had it not been for Brett Tax on the Moto Trek channel. He's got some phenomenal instructional videos that really at least give you some sort of an idea what the hell to do. And so I guess that's kind of what I wanted to talk about next, is just the things I learned on this trip and things I need to improve on and things I would do differently. But cut. The first thing is I forgot to bring a belt. So a lot of standing up on that thing today. About 20 miles worth of standing on Jocelyn Road. So fortunately my pants fit me enough, but don't forget your belt. The one thing I really wasn't prepared for is, you know, the new position of holding your hands on both the throttle with the brake, and on your other hand with your grip and your clutch, with one finger on each. And that absolutely is key. And so I would definitely encourage you to go watch some of Brett Tack's videos, because they're very beneficial. And I found myself instinctively kind of doing some of the things I probably would have done, would have done them anyway, but to feel like that's the right way to do it really made a lot of difference. Namely the throttle, and those, what I was just talking about with where you hold your hand grips, as well as your stance on the bike, being a weightless rider and just being super flexible. And like I said, on the way down, I was pretty worried about whether or not I needed to be standing up or sitting down. I stood up the whole time. And I don't know if it just became less sketchy because of what I had conquered going up, but on the way down, it was no worse than going up, for sure. So, and there was some gnarly ass terrain, you guys. Gnarly. I'm serious, guys. The only thing that trail didn't have is big ledges. It had small ledges, 6 and maybe, about 6 inches, that are just more or less boulders in the middle of the trail. So long as you got over them, you didn't really have any other things to tackle past it. So I had to get my tire placement a couple times on those, but other than that, it had everything. That trail has everything. So definitely looking forward to getting back and doing a more in-depth video of that trail. And I should just say that I had fun as shit. That was the absolute funnest freaking time I've had on this bike, period, hands down, no doubt about it. There were a few moments of a little bit of terror. I wouldn't even say terror, but just a few uncomfortable moments that only lasted a second or two, and the rest of it was just kind of like, oh God, here we go. We're doing it. We're really doing it. And that's what happens, is like you get through one segment and it's gnarly as shit, and you didn't dump it over, and then you get through the next section and it's even gnarlier, and you just keep it upright. But on the way down, in addition to both on the way up and the way down, standing up, seat peg placement, trying to stay as light as possible, but your hand grips for sure. I mean, I had one Razor side-by-side come down and had to slam on the brakes because, I was on the left side of the trail. It was the best part of the trail I could be on, and I had to hit my brakes. So, riding like that is absolutely key, both uphill and downhill. As far as the downhill, one thing I've never heard really anybody mention on the videos I've been watching is the importance of the fall line. The fall line is something you learn about in, avalanche trainings, snowy avalanche backcountry training, or skiing or snowboarding. And it just means, if you were to roll a ball down a hill, it would fall. What would be the fall line of it? It would turn over here, it would turn down there, it would turn over here and turn down there. And so as you're descending, you're trying to kind of stay in the more smoother parts, but sometimes the smoother part's going to put you on a pretty bad, gnarly off camber. So you're just going to have to barrel down through some bouldery, nasty shit. I'm talking softball-sized freaking boulders everywhere that damn near want to buck you off. But so just following the fall line when needs be, I think was key for sure. And of course, again, with the hand placement, keeping it in gear for sure on the way down, with pulling in the clutch now and then when you needed to, but keeping it in gear and keeping the power going to the wheels even while you're braking was definitely key as well. So that is important, but all that stuff's covered on these other videos, these other instructional videos. I'm just giving you some of my insights and thoughts on the matter. But this bike, both uphill and downhill, it just, when it wants to go a certain way, you just kind of let it go that way, and you just respond, and you just kind of try to direct it in the direction you want it to go, and let it take you for a ride, controlled in a controlled manner, but don't fight it. Keep a loose grip, And man, it was amazing. It was freaking gnarly. And another thing was like keeping the speed up, of course. And like somehow you just instinctively know exactly the right speed. You know, you feel like you need to speed up a little bit more, you need to slow down a little bit more. And as long as you kind of maintain that exact pace, more or less, you maintain control, even through gnarly freaking boulders and shit. So it was crazy. It was so cool. Look forward to doing it again. Learned a lot. Like I said, probably learned more on this one trip than I could have learned, and to build my confidence than I could have learned in a couple of different afternoons with an instructor, which I maybe one day hopefully intend to do, but you know, I just don't like handing out a bunch of my money to people that maybe I can learn some stuff myself. I know I should learn, definitely should take some formal training on the matter, but we'll see. I felt like today, like if I did have instructors that had taken me on that road, they would have been quite pleased, quite proud. It just, you know, but it was freaking awesome, you dudes. So I'm trying to get my earplug back in, but that's a wrap. I know it's just not really a very productive video for everybody, but it was cool. So this will be part one. I'll try to do part two and get some actual footage of the trail. So that's a wrap. We'll see you on the next one. What's next? Follow Smith and Edwards on Facebook. All right, let's get home and make some dinner.